Finally, HTTP has solved a critical technical problem that developers were facing from almost a decade. To give you some context, for years, whenever developers wanted to fetch some data from some API, they used to have just two practical choices, either to use GET or to use POST. Now here comes the actual problem. GET requests are fundamentally designed to fetch data, but all your parameters should strictly fit into the URL, which is manageable for small fetches. But if your request becomes massive, then it becomes hard to manage. For example, imagine searching an AA vector database, querying thousands of filters, and maybe sending a huge GraphQL query. The URL quickly becomes too long, so developers started using POST as a replacement. But there is a problem with POST. It wasn't really designed for reading data. It was meant for creating or modifying some kind of resource, which means it has writing powers. Obviously, now that being said, technically nothing stops you from using it to just fetch data. The whole rest of HTTP infrastructure like caching, proxies, and other HTTP utilities often treat POST differently, considering it as not safe for read-only operations. So now the HTTP working group has introduced something called as query method, which solves this core problem. You can think of it like get method with a request body. You can now send the massive search payloads inside the body without actually stuffing the URL, while still clearly telling every server, browser, and cache that this request is only meant to read and not to modify anything, which means the API becomes much more secure, semantic, and clean. And the developers no longer need to abuse POST method just to get over the get method limitations. It's a pretty small change for HTTP, but I guess it is that one change that backend developers would appreciate for next coming years. Peace.